Hello, constellation. Welcome to Starchaeology Tarot. I am Desi. This is my channel. I'll be your Starchaeologist, aka tarot reader, archaeologist of the stars that are you, for this June 2022 reading for Sagittarius. This is good for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Whatever resonates is what is meant for you. What doesn't is meant for someone else. We're looking for messages today from your guides, calling in your guides, angels, and archangels. If you have an additional intention to set, please set it now, or a question to ask. Focus on that question now as I tune in and shuffle. I am looking for any messages that will help you claim your absolute highest potential for the month of June. What are the messages for Sag for June 2022? Nope, that was bad. Let's try that again. Messages for Sag for June 2022. Almost. Okay, Spirit. Seven of Wands in reverse. Okay, the Tower upright. One more card, Spirit. One more card for Sag for the month of June. Okay, wow, the Emperor upright. Okay, Sag. Seven of Swords in reverse. We have the Tower and we have the Emperor. Possibly a big month for you. I'm seeing you in June really struggling to either advocate for yourself or advocate for someone else. There's a struggle here to stand up for what you believe is right. It could also be less rooted in principles like that, staying true to your principles or speaking up for yourself or on behalf of someone else. It could be more about you pushing through a particular tedious stage of a project, something that you want. You have your eyes set on this destination and you feel like you're at a real standstill, even though the end is so close. Others of you, you're not struggling with this energy as much as you're on the receiving end of this energy. So the fact that this is reversed, it just tells me that the direction of energy is different. Instead of being outward, instead of that advocacy coming from you, there is someone else standing up for you in June. There is someone else advocating for you. Or there's someone that you're dealing with who's advocating for themselves, who's setting a boundary, maybe in regards to you and within your relationship. So this feels like you are witnessing someone else trying to do this advocacy work, or you're the benefactor. You are receiving. You're on the receiving end of someone else's kind of benefactor advocacy work that's benefiting you. I see this being around something that you really want. It's something that you truly desire and you feel passion towards, you feel gut impulse towards, you feel instinct about. So whether it's you feel instinct that you need to stand up for yourself and you feel like you can't do that, you feel a complete block in doing that advocacy work. Or you're waiting for, some of you, you're waiting for someone else to stand up for you. You're actually, there's an expectation here in June where you want this other person to fight for you. You want this other person to speak up for you. Or fight for you. Really push through an obstacle and have them actually prove their strength, prove their desire, prove their loyalty, prove their commitment. I think for some of you, this is about commitment. So this is the state that you find yourself in June. In the Tower energy is also in the mix here. So some of you, for those of you who feel trouble standing up for yourself, you feel a block in doing that advocacy work, either for yourself or someone else. There's something crumbling around you that is that's almost forcing your hand right now. It's almost like an act of God, this lightning bolt out of nowhere that is causing a kind of destruction that's very revealing in this situation. And it's in the light of that revelation, that discovery and enlightenment, that you feel like you feel so much pressure to stand up. You feel so much pressure to set a boundary. You feel so much pressure to advocate for yourself or for someone else, in light of this destruction. It's like, I can't just stand aside and watch this fall. This is aggravating. The Tower energy is aggravating this Seven of Wands. It's also making it particularly harder to do because the situation feels dramatic. Because what hangs in the balance is whether this tower stands or will continue to fall. And there's a part of you that's like, I want to fight, I want to advocate. Some of you are like, I want to advocate, I have this impulse, but I'm afraid of the destruction that's already happening. And the falling apart of things doesn't feel conducive to me then pushing even harder. Am I just going to cause this to break even further? And that's scary because, of course, we all are afraid of destruction, even when it is for our ultimate benefit, which it is. It always is. The Tower especially is always destruction for the sake of enlightenment. It's always clearing space so that you can consciously create something more aligned with yourself, with your life, with your desires, with your purpose, in place of where that tower once stood. Those of you who are waiting for someone to stand up for you, hoping someone will fight for you. What's really threatening that right now is this Tower energy. It feels like you're in a war zone right now. It feels like everything around you is falling apart. Beliefs that you had maybe about this relationship, beliefs that you had maybe about this creative project, about this career, about this purpose in life, about this situation, beliefs you had about this situation, whatever that situation is, are crumbling. They're catching fire and they're breaking down. And little by little, that whole psychological tower you had built around this is falling to the ground. It's being completely destroyed. And that is threatening to this person's ability to advocate for you, stand up for you, fight for you. But it's also could be the fuel that makes them do that. It actually could be like, this is the opportunity, the prime opportunity for them to fight for me, for them to advocate for me, stand up for me. And it needs this kind of opposition in order to, or this kind of opposition is needed to bring this advocacy out in that other person. So it's like, it's pushing against it, but also it's supportive. It's like looking for resistance. This tower energy is looking for resistance. And maybe some of you find yourself in this position where no resistance is showing up to meet the tower. And so you find yourself in this state of surrender while hoping that someone's actually going to fight and push back. That's really difficult. Really, really difficult. Vice versa, for those of you for whom the energy is blocked, about you standing up, you being the one to fight, to push through this stage. It could be that your resistance to fight, your resistance to push through or advocate for what you want, it's particularly hard right now because there are forces outside of yourself that you also need to surrender to. So it's hard to know what you need to fight for, what you need to advocate for, because you feel more compelled to surrender to the falling, to the crumbling, the destruction around you. And that's an especially difficult time to stand your ground, especially in some areas, because what's the difference between standing your ground and resistance? Resistance to the inevitable, or resistance to destruction that is so much greater than you. This is a lightning bolt. This isn't something that you can't stop lightning from striking. So that feels really difficult. It almost feels completely futile. For those of you for whom that is resonant, this situation is more about being discerning. It's about fighting for what you're able to fight for. The parts of this tower you're able to salvage and repurpose in the new tower that you build. You can't necessarily save the whole tower crumbling down, but there are elements of it that you could choose to save. You could grab this, that object before you leave the room. You could grab that. You could throw the most important things to you in a bag, or even take a mental picture of how a room was decorated before you leave the tower and use that as inspiration, or repurpose those objects in the new tower that you build. Now, this is, of course, a metaphor for the new mindset that you build, the new belief system that you build, the new structure in your life that you build, where you take things that still may be good, still may be useful to you. You don't have to throw everything out. You don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. This doesn't have to be binary, where either everything is lost in this destruction or everything is saved. Life is not so neat. So this is about, I think, advocating for the things that you know in your gut you want, the things you know in your gut are right, and letting the rest be taken by the fire. The advice here, the Emperor, upright, the Emperor, this is about, it's going to feel really hard to be orderly in surrendering. It's sometimes, I think, surrendering means giving up control. So it just feels like, well, there can't be any order in surrendering. I'm just along for the ride now. But this spread suggests that there are things, that there are little ways that you can exhibit control, and little things that you do have control over. Of course, you don't have control over maybe some of the big picture things. Maybe you don't have control over what someone else, for example, chooses to do, the conditions of your life. But you are able to control how you respond. You are able to control your actions in response. And this is about becoming more orderly. Following your own rules is what I'm hearing. Like, follow your own rules. Don't abandon your rules just because there's chaos. Don't abandon yourself just because this feels like an unusual moment of absolute destruction, and this act of God event. Like, that's the time where the rules go out the window. It's like, no. How do I, if these rules are important to me, then exhibiting them in a time of extremity is a sign of my own integrity. It's further testament of what I claim I value, what I claim is important to me. So whether that's, about you speaking up, advocating for something, or calling someone else out when you feel that it's right that they should be advocating for you, they should be fighting for you. Or maybe it's recognizing that someone is unwilling to fight, someone's unwilling to speak up for you, and following your own rules instead of forcing them to be something that they can't be. You allow them to be part of what is destroyed. You allow that relationship to be, you surrender that relationship to the Tower energy. And you say, take it, because that's my rule. I value myself enough. I value my boundaries enough. I value what I say is important to me, having someone to fight for me or advocate for me. Knowing that this person, I'm worth it to them. They value me enough to push through times of challenge and difficulty. If they're not pushing through times of challenge and difficulty, it's not your job to make them see the light. Rather, this is a moment of you seeing the light. This is a moment of enlightenment for you. This is a time where you truly walk the walk as you talk the talk. You stay true to the rules that you set for yourself, the code of conduct that you set for yourself, and your action fits within what rules, what laws you've created for yourself, for your own self-worth, for your own self-love, your own self-care, and also for your responsibility for yourself and others. What is the what code of conduct do you have regarding responsibility and duty to other people? Is there honesty? Is honesty part of that? Then upholding that code of conduct, following that law, that rule, how does that affect this situation? This is a situation where it takes real clear-headedness and rational thought and decision-making, and maybe for momentarily putting emotion aside just to see what are the rules that are important to me, what is the order of my life that I say is important to me, that serves me, and that serves me in moments of light and moments of peace. Like if this were the star, what do I say is the order of my life? What do I say are the rules of my life, the rules of my existence, the rules that I live by? Because those are the rules that you feel in moments of light that need to also apply to moments of darkness, that need to apply to moments of destruction. The same rules that apply to creation need to apply to those moments of destruction. And how do you stay true to those rules in this relationship or this situation, whatever this is, this fight towards something that you want? Maybe it's the desire itself that needs to be surrendered. If you realize that desire is not abiding by the rules you set for yourself, the goals you set for your life. Do you feel like that desire comes from a place of your highest integrity? Or do you feel that that desire is self-sabotage in some way? That could be a question. Sag, this is a really nuanced reading, and I would love to hear how this looks for you in your life. So if you feel called to open up and share, please do. Sharing our strength and hope with each other, as well as our pain and fear, is so helpful. We really gain strength in our own lives often by hearing other people open up. So if you feel called to share, please, please, please share in the comments below. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. I would be so grateful. And if you want to support this work and help me help you better, then please check out the link below to my Patreon. You can support this channel for $3 a month. There are higher tiers for more personal one-on-one readings monthly with me at a highly discounted rate if that interests you as well. I'm so grateful for you, Sag. Thank you for being here. As always, I love you. I am rooting for you. Have the most magical June. Claim that highest potential for June, and I'll see you next time.